Today is day 106 on our journey to 2000, and we're gonna go over some games. I played a lot of games, and we might reach 1750, halfway to 1800, which is pretty crazy, pretty quickly. So, I studied some chessables. I studied a bit from my book. This is the book I study from, for those curious. And these are the games I played. So the first game I played was a French defense. Apparently a lot of people started playing it now, so it's good I studied it the other day. And so far, I've been liking the Tarrasch variation the most. And usually people don't play... for some reason, I thought this pawn move is best. Apparently, taking is best here. And after takes, it kind of looks like a queen's gambit type thingy. I don't know. And you could check, and you could block, and you could check, and you could block. And I think I've gotten into a position like this before. And computer says even taking here is fine. Because if takes, you could take with check, maybe this, blah, 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 blee, blee, blue, something like this, and then d7. And you could probably even trade and continue the game this way. Anyway, I don't do that. I push the pawn, he takes, I take, brings the queen in, I bring my knight. And already here, you know, I make some mistakes. Here I saw my mistake right after the bishop move. And that mistake is... you could attack the bishop, and then I would have to move my bishop away or take. But moving my bishop away comes with a discovered attack, so I took. And here he could just take the bishop, and he's up a piece. I'm forced to take, and then... well, actually, I guess he's up a pawn. Or he's not up anything. He just has a better position. I thought he would be up, but because I'm threatening his knight, he's not up a piece. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind. So I'm stupid. I even analyzed it wrong. Anyway, a few moves later, I get into the position. I thought taking f7 was fine. His queen doesn't look very nicely situated. Of course, there's open lines towards my king, so I have to be, you know, still kind of careful. Attack his queen. I attack his queen. I let him take here because I see that I could take the bishop and open up his king even more. And then I have this, like, interesting bishop move. And I win the rook. Now, here I actually saw queen c7. But I didn't play it because I was scared it gets too far away from protecting my king. My king is super safe, though, so I didn't need to worry about that. I think queen c7, rook b1 ideas work here. So, for example, if I went here and he went here, well, then I could just take the knight, right? So let's say he moves the knight to safety. Well, I could take this with check and win the knight. So this is just clearly a very good move. And computer says queen e6 to stop me from taking, stop from this. And then I could just literally kick the queen out of the position. Probably even do this. Well, yeah, the knight just... it seems like the knight just gets pooped on, right? It gets taken anyway. So I don't do that. I just try to go for a trade because I'm a piece, essentially. And I let him take my rook here. I saw that move because he's playing fast. So I'm trying to just get into a position to attack his king. My king is much safer. And I finally find this moment to attack the knight and make him move away. And I could probably win the knight if I'm clever enough. And my king is still protected. He moves the knight in a perfectly terrible place. And a few moves later, I'm just completely winning. He has no way of checking me. He can't get his king close. I win the queen, and he resigns. Okay, second game. Boom, 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 boom. Not the best moves played. Actually, interestingly enough, I also saw this mistake where he could just push the pawn. And this looks terrible. Right? At least this looks terrible to me. Like, how do you deal with this? Apparently, computer says you check. bd2. e5. You know, if you come here, then the game equals out, but you could even probably take here. And this just looks really crazy for black. Anyway, that doesn't happen. Surprisingly brings the bishop out, which means I could attack it. And then I bring my bishop to protect my knight so it can move away if necessary. We kind of move pieces around, and my opponent spends a lot of time thinking, so I kind of use that to my advantage. Here he has a checkmate threat. Bring my queen back. I kick his queen out. I'm trying to keep my king safe in the middle of the board, and he runs out of time. So I thought that was pretty cool. If Finally, we get a game that's actually not bad. We're not terrible, rather. And I feel like I have a lot of stuff going on. I see this knight move as a potential kind of like thing. I have a lot of pieces pointed towards his position, and it's just like a really cool position. And I finally find the perfect time. Now here I see this move with the idea that if the knight takes, I have queen f5. So I saw there might be some trick here. I was like, there's something here. I thought maybe the rook comes in. I thought, but I didn't see it. Queen f5 was the move, apparently. Targeting the knight, and let's say, you can't really protect it like this, because the bishop watches there. And you can't even move this pawn because it's pinned. So a lot of cool stuff here. Anyway, that's not what happened. I developed my rook. He kicks my bishop out. And I even see here that, like, I could probably do something. Like, if this... I don't know. It felt like there was something. Apparently, I could come here. Yeah, I didn't see that. Maybe there's some interesting move like this or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't do any of that. Instead, I let him attack me, and I have this brilliant move. He takes, and it's brilliant because I'm winning the piece back. If he takes here, that's mate. He moves his queen to the side. I take with check. I check again, and he just resigns because no matter where he goes, boop, mate. Very cool kind of set of moves that I spent some time actually thinking about. Okay, here my opponent goes for a trick, and I recognize the trick. I actually recognize it, so I start, I develop this bishop. I'm trying to play out of the theory. And I understand that the trick is you're going to try to push my king away and then win my queen. I understood this idea. What I didn't understand is that the knight comes in forking, and if I try to go away with my queen, he just takes the rook, and it's still terrible. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I have some tricks like in the fried liver where he'll go something like here, and then, I don't even know what I thought here. I just thought, oh, there's something. I think I thought I could develop this knight because I wanted to find a moment to develop the knight. Apparently, instead of this h6 move, developing the knight works here. Because now, let's say I do this, and he wants to come here to win my queen. It's protected. And that's how I get out of the trick. I should have seen it. Very sad that I fell for this. And he actually came in with a checkmate, which is insane. So that was a pretty cool game to lose to. After that, we have this beautiful Sicilian where everything works out perfectly. And actually here my opponent just blunders a queen. He does the Botez gambit. But here I should have recognized all the way back here. Because this has happened to me many games, and you'll see another game in this review where it happens, that this pawn move stops the knight from coming in. And it sets up an attack where he's going to castle. So if he castles here, I don't even know if castling here is necessarily the best move. Like maybe castling on the other side. Let's see what the computer says. I'm actually kind of curious. Like let's say he comes here. Yeah, computer says queenside castling. Because then you have this pawn kind of... Yeah, you don't need to worry about these pawns. You could start pushing the position. So this makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I haven't been doing that. And again, I get lucky getting his queen. But we get into this position that's similar. Which somehow, freaking 10 moves of book moves, which is super cool. Like, I'm just the Sicilian. The Sicilian works decently for me. I brought my bishop back because I wanted to use it. I wanted the bishop pair. And I actually come into this really nice position and blunder something that I think was hard to see. Maybe. A little bit. I mean, I basically lose this bishop in the middle, and I'm only down a pawn, but the position looks a little bit wonky, and my king is open, obviously. Doesn't do that, though. I take his bishop. He takes a pawn. Here, I could take his queen, right? If he moves the queen out of the way, I have a check. I could take this knight. So it's just looking really bad for my opponent. He takes the pawn. I didn't realize he could do that and then attack the queen. I thought, oh, that's actually kind of clever. But I calculate some stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can just put intense pressure here after he castles. And everything just worked out. Yeah, I actually considered this, but I was like, let me win a piece. Let me just simplify the position, not overthink. I saw that he could take my piece here, but I have the check coming in. And I mean, I have an extra rook, and he just resigns right here. This game, when people fianchetto the bishop, I like to play a little passively, being a little careful. In this case, I would have rather have like my pawns on like e5, d6, but I wanted to develop my pieces, and this is just how it turned out. I end up having a piece on e5, a pawn on e5, and I trade off the annoying bishop, and then he just blunders, and I calculate this. It's a blunder because after he takes the pawn, he has to take back, right? Because he's going to lose his queen. Then I take the knight. I'm just up a piece. And here I had to just be careful. But I really did have to be careful. You know, now I'm down a pawn in that exchange. And I'm like, okay, I have to play perfectly. I have to be very careful. My king has to be safe. Let me reorient my knight in a way so I could start attacking things. Okay. So we trade. I attack. And this was such a scary moment. I was like, okay, I have to be very careful here. Because he could play in a way that makes it that my knight is going to get captured. And okay, he brings the queen to protect, that allowing him to take the knight. Because this check doesn't work, the queen just takes back. I bring the queen closer. So if he takes something like this, and I'm just winning. And I'm very careful here. And I start reorienting my knight again, trying to go for a trade, and trying to push it in a way. I actually bait this move. And bait his pawn to just keep going back. So I just have my knight there forever. And I'm going to win this pawn. Okay. We trade a little bit. I try to trade queens. And then I take the pawn. And I think this is a perfectly fine position to take the pawn. Let's say he comes here. It looks like, oh no, my knight's attacked. I can come here. Let's say he comes here. Now this is tricky. If I take the queen, I lose. So I just take the rook and I'm up a rook in this position. And something like this, and there's probably some sort of mate here, right? So I was pretty proud of that. Okay, we got another Sicilian. And again, here you see the problems of not going f3. Okay, you see the problems kind of arising. Or h3, or bishop e2, right? Stopping the knight from getting in is important. I lose my bishop here. My king's defense is harmed. The pawn structure in the center looks terrible. And that's it. It's like kind of like the game's over. Or there's that feeling. Now here my pawns become better, but he's bringing a lot of forces into the battle. And again, this pawn is pinned. I thought at one point he would bring this bishop here to increase the pressure, but he doesn't. I move pieces around trying to defend everything. Doesn't really work. I'm down a piece. And a bunch of moves later, you know, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could get lucky. You know, you have to keep fighting. And eventually he checkmates. Now at this point, you know, I'm not doing too bad. We're going in, just dancing around, trying to push at the perfect times. It's very confusing and hard to do. And here, all of this doesn't work. But I end up winning a rook. And I hate that his knights are here. I didn't see losing the center pawn. But a few moves later, I actually do something kind of interesting. I purposefully trade rooks to get my rook into the back rank. I come in with this check and I'm like hoping there's something here. Now if my opponent played it well, there would be nothing here. He has two passed pawns. He's chilling. But, and I trade off his bishop because his bishop is annoying. But I had to come here with the idea that he can't actually get mate. This is mate. He can't get another queen. That's mate. Instead, I move to the wrong side, allowing him to just push the pawn. But he tries to go for a trade, allowing me to come in, and he resigns because this, and that's checkmate. This pawn is doing an amazing job. So I got lucky. Okay. This is the last rated game. We see a lot of stuff going on. The queen comes out, and it helps me develop and push the position, which felt really nice. And here I saw this pawn move. I just didn't think, like, okay, what if he comes back here? Now what? I didn't see. Well, the point is you could just keep kind of bringing pieces to the battle, I guess. Not that e5 was a good move, rook e5, because the knight was covering, but... Okay, so after trading everything, I actually calculate that I'll be up a pawn, which is so cool. My calculation has actually gotten better because of all this. And here I could have put pressure. I didn't even see this is mate. Very crazy cool stuff. That's why you castle early, right? I'm like, let me just trade This position just looks amazing, and I'm up. You know, I have this passed pawn. If I could trade queens, that would be great. But here, this forces a trade of queens. And here I go into some deep thinks. Well, not here, not yet. After trading a bit, bringing my king closer. Apparently, I should have just pushed the pawn, I guess, to bring the king further away from the action. But around here, I actually calculate some stuff. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I spent 30 seconds, which is a lot when my opponent has spent 2 minutes already, you know? Only throughout the whole game. And I calculate some stuff. I calculate, okay, what if he takes and I take and he takes? What if I push the center pawn? He takes, I take, he takes, I push, he pushes, I push, he pushes, I push. I get the queen first, and I could win the pawn. So I calculate something like takes, 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 here, 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 and I'm fine. That's what I calculate. I also calculate, and I'm saying this because I'm proud of myself for actually seeing all this. I also calculate if he just pushes forward. This is obviously fine. And I calculate if he takes. I calculate something like this. And this is also, oops, that would have been bad. This is also fine. I'm really proud of myself. I calculate all that stuff. He doesn't end up taking. And I calculate here. Can I go for this trade? If he takes here, I can come here, 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 here. I calculate everything again. The king is too slow to stop the promotion. Okay. You see, I spent 1 minute and 20 seconds on this calculation. I go for the check. We trade. And then I just... This is what I calculate. And it's so cool. It's so cool when you can calculate this. I calculate basically this, this. I calculate everything that happens. And I'm just in time to stop everything. And my pawn's going to promote. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I'm a 1748 rated player, almost halfway to 1800. Didn't play any other games, but I want to show you guys this game against the 2000, my like quote-unquote coach, my coach friend, that's what I call him. And in this game, we go into the fantasy, which he's very familiar with Karo Khan positions. I'm not as familiar. And I made this mistake in the past with him. Apparently, I'm supposed to develop the knight. But I take, and it's an inaccuracy. And after the position develops a bit, he misses this idea, opening up the king, and a few moves later, and I kept looking at bishop takes a3. It was a scary kind of move. When his pawn takes, it opens up the g6 square to come in with check and just demolish my opponent. So something like this, this, this. I get rid of the pawn, and soon my bishop's gonna come in, and he doesn't have time to do stuff. I believe that's how it was. Instead, it goes like this, and I calculate taking. I see this as just a lost game. I think I calculated some sort of checkmate. Apparently, I could have gotten out of this, because I calculate, you know, b1 looks terrible. The thing is, my bishop is here to stop, like, knight c4. And my knight is there to stop knight a4. So, I was safer than I thought, but this bishop move kind of changes the game. And I thought he would sack his rook here. He didn't. Changes the game, because if now I want to go for this checkmate, he has something like this. If I go to b1, this is mate. If I take, I saw this, this, this being mate. Forgetting that the knight can come here, but then this is mate. So I was very scared of kind of threatening mate myself. He goes for the brilliant move, and I don't take here. Apparently here, this is not mate. Because, I mean, if I go to b3, yeah, but it's a complicated position. But I could go to b1, and I guess he has no easy checks. Like something like this, and it looks like this is mate, but I have this. And if he tries to check here, I have this. And I saw all of this stuff, and it just looked really bad. Apparently, it's neutral. Anyway, that's not what happens in the game. This is what happens instead. We're both low on time. I'm even more low on time. I block with my bishop thinking I'm clever, but, you know, he just puts pressure, and now I lost a bishop. And then it's just a time scramble. He has 15 seconds, I had 13, and I spend way too much time thinking about the position. I blunder, but I pick up his rook. And actually, this allows me to take his bishop, and then I'm slightly winning, / like similar position. But I miss it. And I just run out of time and lose. Okay, I'm now 1748. And we're going to play a game. Sorry, that was a crazy stretch. My hands are semi-warm. For those that don't know, when my hands are too cold, I don't play well. So I'm just going to... Now we're going to play amazingly. Apparently my internet connection is bad. And now it's not. Let's go. We're playing as white. Okay, we have a Sicilian. Nothing too crazy, nothing we haven't seen before. Okay. This allows the knight to come here and have some tricks, which puts us in a better position, unless he pushes the pawn. I don't get into this position often enough, but knight a3 might be coming. Let's just develop this knight preemptively. I don't think that's the best move in this position, but I think it's fine. Yeah, we'll go knight a3. If he tries to push here, I wonder if there's a sack idea. Maybe not. We could go bishop d3. Now we have to be careful of ideas here. That's what f3 is for. Yeah, I think I might have messed it up. We just talked about reviewing the game and seeing f3 and h3 as options. That move does not look familiar to me at all. Tempting me to come here, but then this comes here. So I'm just going to push the pawn here. And maybe bring this bishop here. Something like this. Because I don't know what this knight can do here. It doesn't look like it can do anything. Okay, let's try to kick away the knight. Okay. This actually gives us room to do really cool stuff. I think my opponent may have blundered. The ideas here involve knight c4, in my head at least. Bishop b6. After this, knight d5 looks good, but this knight is actually in the way, so maybe not. Let's bring this knight here with ideas of coming here. Forcing the rook to move away. Yeah, I don't know what that does, to be honest. I think we're the ones that are threatening more stuff. Okay, this blocks off the bishop's axis, actually. That does do something. I'd like to move it here, but I don't want my pawn to be situated here. Maybe it's fine. Something like this. Let's just do it. Because then we have c3 at the end of that line to kick away the knight, I think. There are no check ideas because of our knight on c4. He might push the pawn, but I don't think that's a good idea at all. Okay. Really going all out over here. But both of us haven't castled. I feel like there's a trick here that I don't see, but maybe there isn't. If I take, I think that's just bad. Like, pretty sure that's just bad. We could bring the knight just back. I think that might be best. Now, if he pushes again, we just bring the knight back. Okay, so this move makes some sense. But what happens if I bring my bishop back? And we could take. I don't really like this position much. Let's just come here. I don't want to overthink the beginning of the game. I don't think there's any crazy tricks here. Oh, Jesus. I thought this was a fork, but it's not. Let's take. Now, maybe c4. So, okay, he could obviously attack the queen, but I think we just move over here maybe. Okay, I'm thinking c4, but then he has the check. Maybe we castle first. c4, take... Okay, if he pushes forward, we can start bringing our knight into the position maybe. Okay, this move makes sense. Let's go here. This move would make sense. But that just looks like your king is being completely attacked. Let's go for c4. Jesus, he actually went for it. That just looks insane. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe it's a great move. I just don't know how to play chess, which is possible. If I push and he pushes the pawn, is he extending too far or is he okay? I'm not sure. There's this idea. There's also this. Let's just go here. Don't want to overthink. I think he's going to bring his bishop now. But then I go e2, protecting my bishop and attacking this pawn. Of course, if we take, our knight gets into the position. And now this stops our bishop from protecting the pawn. So maybe actually moving our queen somewhere that protects the center pawn was better. I'm not sure. But then again, maybe him taking this is fine because it opens up an attack on the rook and a check. Is that enough compensation? I don't know, but... Okay, opponent's spending some time thinking. If he attacks... And my hands are still cold a little bit. Feels like there's some tricks here for my opponent. But I feel like my position is safe. Funnily enough. Oh, yeah, so maybe queen... Okay, so he just takes there. Obviously, the problem with the knight taking is the bishop could come in with an annoying kind of attack in the future. But then maybe knight d2 and we're fine. Let's just take. Like right here, he could push the pawn here. I wonder if taking is fine. We're just gonna push this. There was also an idea of knight b6 to target his rook. But I mean, he has access to the position, so it's a little bit tricky. Also, if he cuts off my access... No, actually, knight b6 would have been terrible. Because he would just go f4. And now my queen is forced off the diagonal. I wonder if I could sack my knight. Okay, I feel like if the queen wasn't there, maybe sacking the knight would be an idea. Yeah, you see, now I'm tempted to come here, but I don't have a good enough reason to do it. Like, I don't see what the move is after this. That scared me for some reason. I want to come here. Attacking the bishop. Now, he would have to take, and then he could attack, but then I have this check. This pawn is a little bit dangerous here, though. Oh, let's just do it. Position becoming a little bit crazy. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, we're not doing anything, but we're getting into the position. You know what I mean? Like, we could take this pawn. That looks good. He's attacking my rook. Yeah, I didn't see that. We could also alternatively... this is becoming a little tricky. I think we could come here, making it look like we're going for this pawn, but actually going for this one instead. And after rook takes, we could come here, targeting the rook and the pawn again, and picking up this pawn. Something like this. Also, it seems like there's some ideas of breaking into the position here. I'm just too stupid to figure it out. So, yeah. Now, if he comes... It looks like, oh, it would be nice to kick out this bishop. Maybe even try to trap it. But I don't think it's really possible. Okay, that was clever. I actually didn't think of this move. That was a clever move. That was a very clever move by my opponent. I have this bishop move to attack the pawn, but obviously the rook is watching it. Obviously my first thought is to come here, but if he en passants me, it opens up a line against my king, and I mean maybe it's fine because I'm like putting a lot of pressure on his position. So let's say I attack the bishop. Let's say he checks first. I move to the side. I mean, he could put more pressure on this pawn, I guess. I don't know if en passant allows my rook to get into the position. Let's just do it. I have 3 minutes, and it looks really interesting. Worst case scenario, we learn. Like, that's what's cool. Like, you can only kind of get better in situations like this. We're gonna go here. Okay. See, this was a kind of what I feared. Maybe I should have taken with the bishop first. Oh. And my hands are cold. God damn it, hands! I've been losing like every game that like I record. This is a move. Is it a great move? It's a move. Bishop e6. Attacks the rook and the pawn. Actually, maybe I'm still doing well. Something like this. Then maybe takes. Check. Here. Okay. So, I mean, this just looks like the obvious move, so I'm just gonna do it. Now I could add pressure here. He could push the pawn, but then that allows my bishop to stay here, maybe. Very tricky stuff. Now there's always like a fear of a discovered attack on my queen, but it's very well protected. Now his rook can come here. That's actually a very interesting move. In which case I'll probably come here. Yeah, let's do that. Now I have this, putting even more pressure. I could double my rooks. I could, of course, take the pawn on a6, possibly. Something like this. Check. Here. Check, and then queen just takes. And unless I double my rooks. I think doubling my rooks might be necessary. But at least he's on time pressure now. Oh, Jesus. Why do I have to stretch so much? Hey, I don't know. I like that move. I can just come back here, right? Now, I can take this pawn. That looks like the most quote-unquote obvious move, but then bishop comes here, here. And it becomes a little tricky. So let's play it safe and just bring the bishop back. I don't mind that. I'm thinking a5 is his next move because he doesn't see anything. Then we're gonna double the rooks. He might push the pawn. Okay, you see, I didn't see this move. We'll just go to the corner. Now maybe I'm stupid and I have this rook move. But I'm not sure if I do. Yeah, I only have a minute left. Am I missing some sort of crazy checkmate? I feel like I might be. Take, check, here. Wait. Take. Do I want to do that? Take, check, here. Oh my god, I don't have time. I really don't have time. It was too scary. It's too scary for me. Shoot. Maybe I'll just push this pawn. Jesus, I can't believe I spent so much time on that. 20 seconds left. He might take the bishop to simplify, which would make sense, I guess. But I think my position is safe-ish. He might push this pawn too. Oh my god, if he put... Yeah, he took. Let's simplify. If he goes rook a8, I go queen b5. Wait, doesn't that allow me to take the pawn as well? No, I don't want to take the pawn. Oh my god, I'm freaking out. I hope my hands are fast enough to move pieces when he makes his move. What other moves can he consider? He can consider getting his queen to e3, but I don't think that's fast enough. Come on. I have 18.6 seconds. Make your... Well, actually, I guess if he takes time, that's good. Maybe it'll be a time scramble. He's on the 1 minute mark. Bro, I'm freaking out. I really want to go queen b5. If he goes rook a8, though, b8, though, I'm probably going to take the pawn. Well, maybe I could take the pawn anyway, because he can't really check me. We trade. I could check, and then I could go queen d3. He blocks with the pawn. I take the pawn, and I'm 1 step away from checkmating. I don't know if you guys see that. I don't want to show what the lines are, because if he makes a move, I'm done. I'm thinking pawn g5 is his move, though. That stops any of those ideas. I can't take the pawn anymore. Good. Get down to a minute. Shit. I messed up. He could just take the pawn. God. You have one move, man. Oh my god, he didn't see it. I blundered. I blundered. Come on. Shit. Please. What am I doing? Come on. Come on. 3 seconds. Oh my god. Oh, let's go, baby. Let's go. 1755. Holy shit. I blundered my queen. And I... Look at the bar. Oh, you guys can't see it. Guys, oh my god. The bar, man. The bar. I have to move my face for you to see this. Look at that. Make my face a little smaller anyway. I think it gets in the way. But look at that. Jesus, it goes up and down. That was an intense game, guys. I'd spent way too much time thinking again. Yeah, you see, bringing my knight back in was the right move. It was the right move. I just, I just reoriented the knight to the other side. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this was a miss. I guess to stop any b5 ideas. And that's why he could go b5. Yeah, I saw this, but I thought for some reason b6 is just... this was my plan. And yeah, computer says this is fine. Computer says this is fine. So, you know, I'm not mad about that. An a4 to stop these. This looks kind of scary, though. The pressure on this side of the board. Bro, my heart can't handle that shit. Oh my god. Okay. All of this was fine. Bringing the bishop back to protect... Bro, I literally considered this move. It looked way too passive, which is why I didn't do it. Very interesting. Yeah, and this was obviously just bad. I was losing here. Yeah, and bringing the bishop back was better. I guess because it protects the knight. Yeah, I thought this was good for me. I thought this was very good for me. And here, breaking in... Aha! Now, what if he takes with the rook? Then I could take, because if he takes, I take, and after takes... Isn't this just losing? This looks like a losing position to me, but okay. Maybe my other rook can make stuff happen. I'm not mad with how I played this. The bishop coming back was obviously the better move. And then I found the best moves here, thankfully. Yeah, I think I considered going for this trade, but I wanted the pressure. I wanted to keep going with this pressure that I had here. Taking that pawn was fine, and him giving up the rook was not best. I figured. Okay, now, I knew this was great. I was just scared that with the amount of time I had left, that it would be too hard for me to calculate this. I knew he didn't have a check. But I was like, okay, like, I don't know. I just really didn't like this idea. Apparently, I'm guessing something like this. I don't know. It's just, it feels like too much to calculate, you know? Like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, there's too much going on. Obviously, checking would be terrible here because I could just block. But my king is pretty safe, but I was too scared of that. So I went with a simple plan of, you know what? Let me try to promote my pawn. Let me give him trouble by doing this. Now, I thought this was a bad move because he could just take the pawn. But I'm stupid. Then he hangs the rook. I don't know why I said that. And then here I just blunder. My best move, just let it happen. Because if takes, he still has no way of getting into the position. And I'm definitely creating something here. For example, if I push this pawn, takes, I'm just a rook up. But computer actually says a8 here. I'm guessing here. Wow, that is fascinating. And I could even probably... No, I'm stupid. I'm not that close to promoting. I was like, oh, maybe I could even promote there, but... Okay, and then there's this. The queen is protecting the rook. This is checkmate, right? Bishop would be forced to block that checkmate. Wow, that's a hard move to find, I think. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, Jesus Christ. They stretch in the comments if you watch this far, because I was stretching a lot. And we'll just see the rest of this. Here he could have promoted, but he didn't. I messed up my pre-moves. But then I didn't, and oh my god, 1.5 seconds. Jesus Christ. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great one. And bye-bye.